Hello, and welcome back to your sixth video. And this is the final video in your first module, Understanding the Problem. I hope that you got a lot out of the Lucky Ironfish video. I think that it really speaks to the power of design thinking overall, of intentional iteration, that learning from failure, that kind of sticking with it as things maybe weren't going the way that he wanted. He iterated, he pivoted, he focused in on the people he was designing for. And that's really where that empathy piece comes out, is making sure that you're understanding the problem area and understanding the people that you are designing for. So this sixth final video is all around engaging in empathy. And ultimately, actually, I'm going to give you a little challenge that you'll be working on to practice empathy. Again, this is separate to your own idea that you came into the Ideas Academy with, but again, is to give you that practice playing around a little bit with the design thinking process, beginning with empathy, so that you can get a real good sense of what design thinking is all about, how it works, and then apply it to your own project, to your own idea. But to begin, quick little warm up for us. You might wish to pause the video for a minute or two. Make sure you've got a pen and a sheet of paper. And I'm going to ask that you write down everything that you see in this photo. So again, if you wish to pause the video for a minute or two, just come back when you're ready. Write down everything that you see in this photo. Okay, so welcome back. Hopefully you've compiled a bit of a list of things that you see in this photo. What I'd like you to do now is to go through your list and one by one consider if what you've written down is an observation or if it's an assumption. Is it an observation, something that you purely see that is an indisputable fact? Or maybe where some of your own biases creeping in, your own experiences, your own preconceived ideas creeping in, and perhaps what you wrote down is more of an assumption. So do a quick little scan through your list. Some of you might have done quite well with this. Some people can be very literal and do very well with this. But a lot of times for many of us, we do tend to let our own biases creep in. I shared this quote in the last video, and I think it's important enough, valuable enough to share again. Anais Nin, who said, "We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are." And as we focus in now in this video onto empathy, I really want you to keep this one in mind. So your task associated with this video is going to be to actually engage in empathy. I'm going to be setting you a little challenge, again, distinct from your own idea, but it's to give you that practice with the empathy, with design thinking, so that you can then apply it to your own idea. But before I reveal what your challenge is going to be, a little bit of suspense. I'm just going to remind you of the design thinking process. Again, that solutions piece, the ideas piece, only comes in the middle of the 5-stage process of design thinking that begins with empathy, that begins with the observations, the interviewing, the research, the body storming, before you focus in on a specific problem to be solved, come up with solutions to that, prototype and test a few of those. So this is just to give you a sense of how this will look in terms of timings. So this first piece is around empathy, undertaking the empathy, and you'll have a few days, even a week or two to do this. It's just that you have this empathy work done by your group discussion. So that you've gone out, you've undertaken empathy in relation to this challenge that I'm about to reveal by the time that you're having your group discussion, because you'll be sharing with them. And then in the second module with me, we'll be going through the other 4 stages of the design thinking process. So you might be curious now to know what your design challenge is going to be. Litter. So we are going to be exploring litter. You might think about litter in its various forms and locations, different contexts within which you might see litter, different kinds of litter that you might see that might exist. But your design challenge is around litter. And the first thing I'd like you to do This will take about 15 or 20 minutes, maybe. You might spend a bit longer if you're really into it. That's completely okay, of course, is to prepare for empathy. So 15 or 20 minutes, maybe a bit longer. What I'd like you to do is to consider the various stakeholders in relation to litter. When I say stakeholder here, what I mean is an individual or maybe group of people who are likely to either affect or be affected by a problem. So in this case, we're talking about litter. Think about people who might either affect or be affected by litter. In the context of design thinking, stakeholders are people who can share their experiences, who can provide you with insights, who can give you information. So in relation to litter, think about who might be able to tell stories, share their experiences, give you information. And I might suggest here that you think back to the shopping cart video, the IDEO shopping cart video. And when those designers went out to learn about shopping carts and trying to identify problems with shopping carts, there were lots of stakeholders. There were shoppers, but even within shoppers, there were the kind of normal shopper going at the weekend. There were professional shoppers, people of different ages buying different things. They spoke to employees of the grocery store, but again, not just general employees. They spoke to people at the cash registers. They spoke to the managers. They spoke to the gentleman who was working in the parking lot collecting the shopping trolleys. They spoke to somebody or got information about the number of injuries with shopping carts. So think big. We talk about in empathy, endeavoring to capture diversity. So you're talking to as many different types of people who can give you information as possible. If you'd like, you can pause the video here for the 15 or 20 minutes that it might take you to begin thinking about the stakeholders, or you can come back to this video once you've done that. And I just want to show this is one way that you might like to approach this is through a stakeholder map. So if you've got any Post-it notes to hand, or you could just draw this out on a big sheet of paper, think about anybody who might be able to give you information to share experiences, insights around litter. And this is one done for the traffic citation system. And you can see that they have kind of captured specific people, different advocacy groups, the courts, the governments, the police, and within those, all of the sort of more specific people. So again, to start to prepare for empathy, what I'd like you to do is to create the stakeholder map or list of stakeholders who can give you information about litter. And once you've done that, come back, rejoin the video, and I'll give you a little bit more information as to how you might actually go about undertaking the empathy. Okay, so welcome back. Hopefully you've got a good big long list now or map or visualization of stakeholders in relation to litter. And your task 2, and this one's going to take a little bit longer than most of the tasks we've done so far, is going to be to actually engage in empathy. And again, I'd like you to have this done before your group discussion, so you'll be able to share with your fellow course participants what you did, what you learned, how you found the process of empathy. So you're actually going to be going out to learn as much as you can about litter using these different approaches. Again, think back to how they approached this in the shopping cart video, what you saw in the Lucky Iron Fish video in preparing to do this. And what I'm going to task you with, each of you individually, is to have a minimum of 3 conversations. 3 conversations, refer back to your stakeholder list. Who do you think you might be able to reach out to or interact with out and about, talking to them about litter? I'd also like you to make observations. So think about going to a location where you might be able to see people either carrying waste or around bins, public parks, public locations, wherever it might be, to make observations. You might think about how you could body storm in relation to the problem area of litter. So remember with body storming in the shopping cart video, they were pushing the shopping cart around the grocery store. Think about how you might put yourself in the place of somebody who's either trying to get rid of something. Maybe I'm not saying to go out and litter. Please don't go out and litter, but maybe carry around a bit of paper if you have it and think, if I actually wanted to get rid of this, what is that experience like? Are there enough bins? Where are the bins? Are they full? Are they empty? That kind of thinking. You might also, I'd like you to do a little bit of research. So think about what you might be able to look up just to get some maybe kind of hard facts about information about litter. Throughout, remember, be conscious of your assumptions so that you're not letting your own preconceived ideas about litter or experience of litter with litter influence how you're undertaking this process. So minimum of 3 conversations by your group discussion next week, along with some observations, some amount of body storming, and a little bit of research. I think it would be great if you can somehow capture all of the information you gather, any of the insights you're gaining, maybe especially noting any of those aha moments as, oh, that's really interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. Those types of insights that you're gathering. Or things that you think represent specific needs, maybe problems to be solved. Throughout, we're not going into solutions yet. That's for the next module. In this module, we're really just trying to get a sense of this problem area, understanding the problem to be solved. Next module is for solutions. This is all about the understanding phase. Can use any of these phones, Post-it notes. There's different online whiteboards that you might like to use to get your information down, of course, just so you don't forget it in the meantime. Quick little note as we look to wrap up this video on comfort zones. So whether for this challenge around litter or looking ahead when you apply design thinking to your own project, to your own idea, this can feel kind of awkward sometimes going out, talking to people, talking to strangers, engaging in conversations. It is a little bit scary. It can be a little bit daunting. But what we generally see is that people really do want to help. You ask somebody, tell me about the last time you. Sometimes you can never shut them up. Like sometimes they just go and go and go. The hardest part isn't getting somebody to start talking. Sometimes the hardest part can be to say, thank you for sharing your experience. I've got to go now. So I do hope that you have that experience of meeting friendly, kind, and helpful people when you're out and about undertaking empathy to explore the problem of litter. And of course, you've got your fellow course participants to link in with as a support crew, support network as you go through this. So best of luck. Hope you get on well with the empathy. Hope you learn a lot, see a lot, hear a lot, learn a lot around litter. And I'll see you for the next module, which is all about refining your solution. Good luck and enjoy.